Hello and welcome to On the Bench, the only sports discussion show for the Lincolnshire and Humber region right here on Estuary TV. I'm Paul Woodford. On the show today we'll be taking a look at the big talking points from the world of sport, plenty this week as well, and asking our guests in the studio for their viewpoints on the stories that have been hitting the headlines over the past week. On the bench this week, I'm delighted to be joined by professional golfer Sophie Walker and from Hibaldstow Skydiving Centre, Rob Spour, of course responsible for throwing our Rachel Chadwick out of a plane. More on that in just a while. Welcome to the studio,
Thank you.
both of you. Sophie, bit of an exciting job you've got, a professional golfer, travelling all over the world. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I play all year round, so follow the sun, go from Europe, Asia, Australia, Africa, so it's pretty cool.
What a fantastic job, and it all started because your dad was into golf.
Pretty much, yeah, and then a couple of the boys at school played and that was it really. We just all went down and played golf.
Brilliant. Rob, one of the very few professional full-time skydivers in the country, and you did take Rachel Chadwick out of a plane very recently.
Well,
We'll
I was on site when it happened, so
Right,
we're
okay.
involved in the process of it all. So yeah, it's quite good fun. Obviously a little bit more interesting than a normal job.
So two really exciting people on the bench this week. We'll be back with our guests very shortly. Also on the show this evening, Tom and Stu will be bringing you a special edition of A View from the Estuary, all the way from the home of the White Wolves, Louth Town FC. And as we just heard, Rachel Chadwick has been at Hibaldstow Skydiving Centre with Rob and the team for a charity skydive. See how she got on later on the programme. You don't want to miss that. But first, in the news this week, Jack Wilshere, I think it's fair to say, has stoked a debate, commenting that only English people should play for England. Guys, this is always going to divide opinion in any room. It has in the entire country. But what are your thoughts on this? Was he right to say it? Was he wrong to say it, Sophie?
I think what he was trying to say was it was about the young lad that played for United, wasn't it? And about living in a country for 5 years shouldn't determine that you can play for them. And in that respect, I do agree with him. Obviously, the media got hold of it and blew it out of all proportions. But I kind of agree with Jack. Yeah, I think that it's been important to get some culture back in England and to feel English, and I think that's what he was trying to say.
OK, that's what he was trying to say, but how the media, if we want to put it that way, have made it look, Rob, is that essentially what he was saying was that David Beckham's kids couldn't play for England because they weren't born here, but Luis Suarez's kids, for example, could. So if he was saying that, which we don't really know what he was saying, that makes for an interesting debate, doesn't it? Because you've got all sorts of nationalities coming into the sport, and obviously we want to retain the best players for England, surely. Is that not the way we need to be looking at it?
I think it's a tricky one. Obviously, I was born in England, consider myself English, so would only ever want to represent England at sport, you know. If Beckham's children, say, were born in the States, spend their whole life growing up in the States, to me they're American.
Quite a few high-profile.
So, you know, I know the dad represented England, so you've got that. There's a difference there, but.
Yeah, is it where you consider yourself to be? I know that quite a few high-profile sports people have joined the debate. I know what you're saying, Sophie, but if we take him at face value as what he probably was saying, then it's really not the issue that it's been blown to be. But if not, you've got Kevin Peterson, you've got Andrew Strauss, Justin Rose, all these people who kind of implicated by what's been said here. Where do we go from here? The FA and the FIFA are all talking about it, the media are all blowing it out of proportion, as you say.
We've just got whatever the rules are. I think we'll just go with them. Yeah, if we win the Ashes in January, then Kevin Peterson's very much English, isn't he? So I think that what the media go with is as long as they're playing well, then they can be English. So.
Interesting way of looking at it.
Yeah.
I'd like to count on the bench, not in that bracket.
Okay.
For media, thank you. But let's talk about Owen Hargreaves, and I know Greg Rosetsky as well was another one that we were talking about earlier, because he was a good tennis player. We needed a good tennis player, so in he came. You can be English.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. That's what I think about the Greg Rosetsky thing. That's like talking about the 5 years for the passport. He was already a great tennis player, and we decided that we wanted him. We've got a few of them in the athletics as well. Whereas someone like Mo Farah, we didn't know he was going to be an Olympic champion. We took him in at a very young age as just a normal boy. I think that's a slightly different angle. I don't think we should have to look at people that have only been here 5 years. I hope to think that we've got enough, you know, talented people that we can just be normal like everyone else, just be the English, you know, just that.
Yeah, well, obviously we've got Roy Hodgson back in charge at England, but before that Sven-Goran Eriksson, Capello. We've had a lot of non-English managers as well coming into the sport. Is that having an impact, do you think, on the way we're looking at the sport and the way that you say the culture? We need to get back to the English culture. Has that been lost a little bit, do you think?
I think sport in general is more globalised now, so the moving around the players, managers and that sort of thing has an impact. you know. So, like the Owen Hargreaves thing, so obviously we decided...
Welsh mother, he's from Canada.
Yeah, applying his trade in Germany at the time. Obviously I know he came on to play for Man United eventually, but...
He did win Player of the Year as well, so you know, this is a man who's got great success and he's very high profile, but... I see from your faces, we could have gone on all night about this debate, and I think the country might just do that as well. Very controversial debate. We'll definitely keep an eye on this one to see how things develop. Twitter's interesting on that score as well. Next up on the show, Tom and Stu have rounded up your questions and hit the road for a special edition of View from the Estuary directly from Louth Town FC. Enjoy this.
Hello and welcome to this week's View from the Estuary, brought to you from Park Avenue, the home of Louth Town Football Club. Is Jack Wilshere right in saying only English-born players can play for England? If you look at Jack Wilshere's comments on Twitter, if you look at those, I can see where he's coming from. I completely agree with him. You want English-born players to play for England, as the Dutch will want Dutch-born players to play for their national side. So I completely agree with Jack Wilshere on this one, I have to say.
He's had one good game for his club. He must have been buzzing on that. You know, first start in the Premier League, 2 goals. All this England talk, after one game, it's a bit barbaric.
If you also look at the fact that he could come into the England setup, play poorly for a season or two, or have a poor tournament, and then get dropped by a new manager, or obviously the current manager, and then he can never play for an international side again. So he's got to think about that, and then England have as well. So it's up to the FA, I think. Can anybody stop Sebastian Vettel this season?
He can be stopped, but the drivers aren't actually up to Vettel's standards. He's already won 3 world titles. He could make it 4th. We hope he does. Good luck to him.
No, he can't be stopped. You know, he's way ahead with the points on the board. He can win it with his next race. And even if there was drivers to do it, they haven't got the car to do it. So for me, Vettel cannot be stopped this season.
You also look at the bigger teams like Ferrari. They seem to be going backwards down the grid. Red Bull have been consistent in the top, and it's always Vettel in the top 10 places.
Why are the North London clubs higher than the Manchester clubs this season? Simply because they've scored more goals and won more games and got more points.
Yeah. Well, they've also lost less games as well when you look at it. Man City, they're a bit iffy away from home this season. They've lost to Cardiff, they've drawn to Stoke, but at home, they're fantastic. People say that it goes on the home form. You look at Man U, they've already lost to West Brom. Who would have thought that? But also the players that they've bought in. Yes, Man City have bought in some quality players, but Manchester United only really bought in Fellaini, and he hasn't really made that much of a difference. Whereas Arsenal and Tottenham, Mesut Ozil's already gone out and made a difference, and Tottenham, well, their players, they're just fantastic who they've bought in. Soldado, Paulinho, you name it. They're going to do well this season, and they might even win the Europa League.
Yeah, you have to say they've got Arsenal and Tottenham have got stability. They've got the same management, same coaches. That obviously train the same, they've got the same methods on the pitch. New players, but they're playing in the same way as they have done previously, and obviously it's made a difference, whereas the Manchester clubs, new manager, new coaches, not so many new players, but they're still obviously taking time to gel. I think that's the reason. Is Lennox Lewis's rumoured comeback money-driven?
Well, I wouldn't say no to $100 million. It must be money-driven for a cash amount of that size. He hasn't boxed for a decade, and it's against his last opponent's brother. So yeah, to me, it is money driven. He might want to come back. Who knows? He could be skint for all we know. We haven't really heard much of him though. He's been quiet in the background. So whether this is money driven or not, surely the big figure has something to do with it.
A decade out of any sport and then coming back, it's like you're re-entering the sport for the first time again. Yeah. You're going to be so out of shape, so off the mark, different training methods, etc. So yeah, definitely money driven. Well, that's it from us this week then. Thank you to Louth Town Football Club for having us today. If you've got a question for us, you can get in touch with us on Twitter at AskEstuary.
Thank you, Tom and Stu, and thank you for your questions as well. Time for a break. We'll be back soon. Welcome back to the show now. An ongoing debate around the world of sport, and you know we like those here at On The Bench, is whether or not we should be embracing the use of technology to assist with things such as decision-making and action replays. We've seen it make a huge impact in the sports of cricket, tennis and rugby already. And last weekend, Hull City trialled goal line technology in the Premier League. So guys, we did have a chat about this earlier on, and there's so many elements to this, aren't there? First of all, the technology in sport allowing the viewers to be able to choose what they're watching, when they're watching, and how they're watching it is one aspect. And as a player, as a professional golfer, that must be a pretty exciting thing for you.
Yeah, I mean, we don't use the technology as such for decisions, but yeah, the only thing I would say in golf is the trial by television hasn't. I don't think it's that fair, but I'm all for it in all the other sports. Just
explore that a little further, because we're moving from the technology for viewers, obviously using that in place of something like goal line technology, as you say, trial by television.
Yeah, so what's been happening at the moment is somebody's been sat on the sofa watching their TV, and they're ringing in and saying this happened, this happened, this happened. For instance, Tiger Woods had a few incidences.
And you can't cover
you can't cover every player. So, for instance, Tiger Woods, every single shot he'll hit in the tournament will be on TV, whereas somebody that's come in 60th, 70th place might not be. So it's difficult. Whereas at a football match, obviously, it's on everybody, and I think it's a bit fairer. Whereas in golf, I don't think it's used that fairly.
We've seen it in rugby, really affecting the pace of the games, Rob, when every 5 minutes, even less than that, they have to keep stopping and waiting for the decision for someone to watch a screen and watch a replay back, and you see it on the screen. And it, apart from undermining, potentially, the decisions that are being made on the pitch and negating the need for perhaps a physical presence down there, is it making it disjointed? Is it making it a problem for the viewers, do you think?
Well, not being a huge rugby fan, but looking at it more from a football point of view, obviously with the pushing towards the goal line technology, I'm pretty much old school with regards to I like the controversy. It raises talking points, and I know there's arguments about there's been certain goals recently that clearly were goals and weren't given, but then to me that's football. I know times change, but a lot of it seems very money driven as well, you know, and I don't think that's always a good thing for the sport. I think not every change in football has been for the better.
I mean, we're trusting the integrity of these people. We're putting them down there as referees, umpires, whatever else you want to call them, and you know, we've got to trust them, haven't we? If we're going to trust them and put them down there, then surely trust their judgment. If they get it wrong from time to time, as you say, that's just part of the game.
Yeah, I think with all the new technology for us viewers to actually see it, we now can see them doing stuff wrong, whereas 20, 30 years ago, before, player cam and everything else, we didn't know. But now we've got Gary Neville and, Jamie Carragher scrutinising every single thing. And I think that I feel sorry for the referees in that respect, because they've only got a split decision, minute to... Sorry, I just went there.
No, that's fine. There's so many elements to this, as we say, but I think overall the technology's there. It's going to come in one way, shape or form, isn't it? So we'll just have to see which form that takes. Right, next up on the show, our very own Rachel Chadwick recently went along to join Rob and the team at Hibaldstow Skydiving Centre to face her fears, a bit like Rob did when he took up the job, and throw herself out of a moving plane at 15,000 feet. I make it sound dramatic, but it was. Let's take a look for ourselves.
Right, we're here down at Hibaldstow Skydiving Centre. I'm about to do a skydive. It's very nerve-wracking. My butterflies are going, and I'm going to jump out of a plane at 15,000 feet, which is approximately 3 miles. Definitely nervous, but really excited. Doing it for cancer research, so it'll be well worth it. We've raised nearly £1,000 so far. The winds are picking up today, so I think it's going to be quite a quick jump. So here we go. So I'm here with Rod, who's my flight instructor for the day. So he's going to talk us through what's actually going to happen.
Okay, obviously skydiving is weather dependent. Unfortunately, at the minute we're on a slight weather hold because the winds have picked up a little bit. But in normal circumstances, what would happen is we kit you up.
As so.
As so. We head off to the aircraft, climb on board. We connect you at the side points and the top points. We take off and we climb at this particular drop zone. We do the highest skydive that is physically possible without oxygen. So we go to 15,000 feet.
Oh God! Just give me a minute. That's quite.
Okay. So the plane then gets itself set up above the drop zone, up 15,000 feet, 3 miles, vertical. We get into the door of the plane and we jump out. for no
Easy as that.
That's it. That is as easy, as simple as that. We exit the plane. We're in free fall from 15,000 feet down to approximately 5,000 feet, at which point the parachute is open. We then fly from 5,000 feet down to 0 feet and land safely in one piece. And we get up and we jump and we hug and we go,
Yeah, high five! And we made it!
Hello! How are we doing?
I'm fine, I'm so excited!
Good. Have the nerves kicked in?
No, not yet. The adrenaline after 8 hours of waiting has kicked in.
It'll be worth the wait.
Yeah, can't wait.
I'm going to wish you luck. Give me a big thumbs up. Good luck.
That was amazing. I'm crying. That was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah?
That was the best thing ever. I felt like a bird.
Yeah, you think you'd do it again?
Oh, I'd definitely recommend it. Look at me, I'm crying.
Come on! Yeah! Okay. Jump up.
That looked incredible, I'm sure you'll agree, and huge respect to Rachel for doing that. Now, Rob, our viewers have been in touch with a few questions for you. First of all, you skydive on a regular basis. Do you get scared when you go there? I know you got into this by being afraid of heights.
Yeah, no, not anymore really. There's anticipation. Obviously you're aware of the ifs, buts and maybes, but I'd say trusting myself, more knowledge I've gained over the years and trusting the equipment I use and the people I work with sort of dispels the fear.
And one of our viewers asked if they want to do a skydive, how do they get involved?
Well, they can go to UK Skydiving, Skydive Hibaldstow, and look that up, and we can sort them out. There's different types of skydives you can do. So we've got AFF course, which is accelerated free fall, which is a solo jump with two instructors the first time. Obviously tandem skydiving, like you saw in the video, and then how I started, which was static line, which is where we have a rope, pretty much connected into the aircraft, which will open the parachute for you. There's three different main courses there. So.
Brilliant. Yeah. Sophie, ladies golf is big profile, but it's not big enough, is it, compared to males golf? That was one of the questions put to us by the viewers.
Yeah.
Does it frustrate you?
Well, of course, yeah. I mean, I think we're playing for 10% of what they play for, so yeah, it is quite frustrating in that respect, but it is growing, and you know, hope to one day it will be on the same lines of tennis, but that, you know, that's the dream.
How can it get there? What do you think the sport or the governing bodies need to do to make it get there?
I think our product's good enough. I think the girls are good enough. It's just getting the money behind it to put the productions together for TV. I mean, this year we've now got 6 live events on our tour, which is more than we've ever had. So if we can just keep building like that, maybe in the next 5 years' time we'll get the coverage like the guys, but it's just got to keep going and hoping for the best.
Well, I truly hope you do, because I think it does deserve to have equal coverage, and I look forward to seeing it up there. Well, that's all we've got time for this week. Thank you to our guests, Sophie Walker and Rob Spour, and thank you to the team at Hibaldstow Skydive Centre. A special thanks to you for watching, of course. We'll see you again next week at On the Bench.